next question I'll be having is the form of a theoretical question. We are asked, a person was involved in a car accident and became unconscious due to excessive blood loss. Explain briefly how the blood loss can be restored. So I know a person was involved in a car accident. Imagine you are a witness of a car accident, or a fatal accident has just happened in front of you, and the person was unconscious as a result of excessive blood loss. How could you help salvage the situation, or what is it as a biology student that you can do to help restore blood loss in that critical condition? So how do you go about this? I rub the board. So what you need to do in this kind of situation is not just to panic, is to, the first thing is what you have to take the victim. You take the victim to what? To nearest hospital. So you take the victim to nearest hospital, and in the hospital, to salvage this, what must be done to restore blood loss is to know the genotype of the patient or the person whose blood is being lost. So the genotype is crucial to know, to take notes, so as to avoid something that we'll call agglutination. Agglutination is a serious thing that can lead to the man's death. So, and after you've taken the victim to the nearest hospital and the genotype has been carried out, and the next thing, just follow, the genotype. I hope you're with me. After the genotype has been identified, so the blood group after the genotype has been identified, so the genotype gives us the blood group of the man. The genotype of the man, we have 6 genotypes. Like, we have 6 genotypes, which are your AA or AO. We have the B, BB or BO. All these are what you learn when we start our classes. We have the other genotype, which is your AB. AB does not have any other one, and we have the other genotype, which is this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we have the last genotype, which is OO. So all these are the major genotypes that we have. We have the 6 genotypes. We have the AA, we have the AO, we have the BB, BO, AB, and OO. So the genotypes also gives us the identification of the blood group. So the blood group is a phenotype. The blood group is a phenotype of the genotype. So we have how many blood groups? So we have, from this we can see that our A, we have the blood groups which we can guess from our genotype. So AA or AO we have blood group A. We can only have blood group A with that. And with BB or BO, we have blood group B. And these, because A and B are dominant, they are codominant. You still learn about much of this term when we start the class fully. So A and B are codominant. So we have the blood group of AB, and we also have O. So we have how many 4 blood groups? We have A, B, AB, and O. We have we have blood group B, and we have blood group AB and blood group O. So after the genotype has been determined and we know the blood group, is a successful transfusion of blood can now occur. Why is this necessary? So this is necessary because to avoid agglutination. Agglutination is the clumping of contrasting antigens and antibodies. So agglutination occurs when we have contrasting antibodies and antigen together. For example, a person with blood group A can only receive blood from blood group A and O. Why is it possible? Our O is a universal donor and our AB, from your knowledge of biology, is a universal recipient. So our B also can only receive blood from blood group B and O only. So this is why it is crucial to determine the blood group of the man to avoid what we know as what? Agglutination. So agglutination is very, very important so as to save the life of the patient that we have. So the next question we have here is we should look at the crossing. Yes, please students, I want you to take note of this because this has been a place where students fall victims and they don't perform well in the process of answering questions like this. The questions are on genetics, so I want you to listen and pay attention as I go on with the question. I need to rub words on the board, so I hope you are with your pen and you are paying close attention to what you're trying to say. So the question that we have is, this is very important for those writing a written examination because there are steps you need to take to answer the questions correctly. We are asked that two heterozygous yellow plants are crossed using a genetic diagram. State the phenotypic ratio and the genotypic ratio. Two heterozygous yellow plants are crossed and we are asked to state the phenotypic ratio and the genotypic ratio. Note this word. In concepts of genetics, we have what we know as homozygous and we have a term called heterozygous. So from the word homo means the same thing. We have the same alleles, the same gene. So, I need to rub my face. Alright, back to business. Homo means the same allele. For example, we can have an homozygous trait for tallness, which is T. Let's just say we are representing our tallness trait to be T. So we have homozygous, since we have the same, we have T. So we have a pair of traits. And for any heterozygous, we have contrasting allele. Contrasting allele, for example, for any heterozygous traits, heterozygous tau, we can say we have our capital T, which is the other form of this capital T is what? The smaller t. So we have this to be in homozygous condition. We have this homozygous tau plants, and this is what? Heterozygous tau plants. So, but look at the question. This is where students get it wrong. The question states that two heterozygous yellow plants, in the basis, talking about genetics, since we are not asked for tallness, it will be wrong for a student to represent his tallness with T, because the examiner has given a clue of what is probably the best letter to represent the traits that you are being asked. Back to the question that we asked us, we are asked that two heterozygous yellow plants, and the traits that we are discussing here is color. So the trait that we are talking about is color, and we have heterozygous yellow. Why? for our yellow color, and since we said heterozygous mean another form of the traits, like I've explained earlier, for the tallness we have another form of tallness, which is the T. Basically, you can, from your knowledge of genetics, the basic knowledge, you know that T is the dominant one and the small t is the recessive form. So we can say we have the dominant form for yellow color, which is Y, and we have the recessive form, which is the small y, crossed with another heterozygous yellow plant, which is Y and Y. So this is the first stage. You have to write out the traits that you are crossing. So we have yellow, heterozygous yellow, and we have what? Heterozygous yellow plant. So also, and the next thing, this is where most of students just come across the mistakes they make. So we have, the next thing you should do is you write out what we call the gametes. We have the gametes here. The gametes is the next thing that you should write out. Some students will just go on just to cross. They cross and they get all their likes answers, but this is wrong in the sense that we're not having a multiple choice examination, but a written, for the purpose of a written examination, you have to go through the process that is necessary for you to have the correct grade. So like I said, you have to put out the gametes, and we have just two gametes here, which is Y. So it's more beautiful when you put them in a circle to show that they are gametes, and the other gametes, the small y, also with and the other. So with this is the second step which you've taken. You've given yourself a better chance of getting the right option. So from here you get to cross. So you cross. When you do your crossing very well, when you do your crossing, we have what we know as our y crossing together with our y, and we also have the same y here. We'll cross it together with this, and when we have two y coming together, from what I explained here, you know, when you have the same traits, you have what? Homozygous. You have y. Probably I'll rub to make you see what I'm demonstrating. I'm with you. Don't worry, I just want to make you have a wider view of what you're trying to do here. So this y, and this y. Being crossed, we have y, like we said, our gamete, this capital Y, and there's a small y. Also with the other gametes. This is very crucial for those writing the written exam. So you cross it, you have your y and your y, which is homozygous, and you cross it with the other y. And don't forget, this is as a result of Mendel's law. Mendel's law of segregation of gene. So they segregate separately. That, you know, the first law of Mendel, genes segregate separately. So we have y also to give us an heterozygous. So the other gene crossing with this. Please, I need you to focus on what I'm trying to do. Don't mind the drawing and the stick up and down, so you just have to focus on where I'm going. So this and y, and you have the last one. When you cross this very well, we have the last one to be what? Y and y. So from here you have the probability of the offspring being homozygous yellow, heterozygous yellow, or having another color which is not yellow, maybe white. Yes. So from here we are asked for the what? Genotypic ratio and the phenotypic ratio. Phenotypic ratio, phenotype is what you see physically. Phenotype is what you see, what you can observe physically, and from here we can say our phenotype, we have what? We have a yellow plant. Yes, we have another yellow plant because Y is dominant over Y. I already told you the last time that the small y is recessive, and we have Y dominant over Y. We have the small y. So we have how many yellow plants? We have one. This is a yellow plant. This is a yellow plant. This is a yellow plant. So we have phenotype. We have 3 yellow plants. We have 3 yellow plants, and we have what? 1. Let's call the Y, the recessive form, to be white. 1 white. So the phenotypic ratio, you can see this is a ratio of 3 to what? 3 to 1. You can probably see from that. But talking about the genotype is the constituent, is the composition of, is the whole composition of what make up the organism. We have the genotype is talking about the all composition of the organism, and for the genotype we have what we know as the same traits, which is your homozygous. We have 1 homozygous yellow. We have homozygous yellow, and since these are what? They are contrasting characters. We have what? 2 heterozygous yellow, and the other one we have one which is the white man. So we can say that the genotype or the genotypic ratio for this is in the ratio of what? We can just look at the top, the genotype. I want you to see it clearly. So the genotypic ratio, rather, we have 1:2:1. So with this, you have a good score, or you have a good grade solving the genetic question. So the last question for the day, we are just asked to just give the similarities between transpiration and sweating. As you can see, for the past few minutes now, I've been sweating profusely. So we are asked to give the similarities between transpiration and sweating. So transpiration, and I'll rub what's on the board. So I want you to take your pen and your writing materials just to get what we're about to say about transpiration and sweating. Transpiration, it occurs mainly in plants. And whereby what? Sweating occurs in humans. But mind you, the difference between these, the key difference between this is transpiration occurs during the day, and whereby sweating you can sweat during the, imagine you going to your bed during the night and you wake up in the next morning, you find that your bed is wet as a result of what? You're not bedwetting, but you find out that or maybe the room you were is not well ventilated, and as a result of that you have to produce more sweat. So sweating occurs during the day and night, but transpiration only occurs during the day. And the similarity that you should take note, similarity that is very, very pertinent to, that is common to both sweating and transpiration is that both brings a cooling effect. Imagine you, after you've eaten your food, you've rushed your food, imagine the amount of sweat that comes out of your body as a result of the hot food taken in. You can see that after some time you feel relieved. After taking some breeze, you feel relieved as a result of cooling. So sweating brings a cooling effect. Also to plants, transpiration brings a cooling effect. So I hope you've enjoyed yourself with this short and concise explanation on heredity, genetics and reproduction. I want you to do well to join us next time when we're going together through another concept in biology. Till next time, have a wonderful day. Thank you.